All right, we are live, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Lake County. I'm your host, David Rich. We have two first-time guests on today, which is very cool. I always like new guests on. Chris Miller and Nader Kardoush. Did I say that right? Okay, good. Thanks. And Nader is actually the owner of Beer Bazaar in downtown Grayslake. And I have not been there yet, but I hear about it frequently enough. I would say the word has gone out, so that's very cool.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah,
hopefully good things.
Yeah. No, only good things. And then Chris Miller, who I met at a data center meeting once. Oh, we started at your bar, but there was a conflict of scheduling or something, so we ended up going down the street. That's what I remember.
Oh yeah, I think we had like a party going on, like happy hour with like a local company. So yeah, okay. It kind of filled up in there really quick. So unfortunately,
well, that's good. No, that's good, man. I mean, you're there to, that's how you make money. So Chris is. We're going to talk about hemp and THC, cannabis in general, stuff like that. I mean, Nader just brought up before we went live something that I'm going to give you the mic first. It's something I never even thought about. Is that there is a certain amount and type of competition between bar industry, your typical alcohol industry, and THC industry, because they're both competing for a similar sort of effect on the individual, woohoo, if you will. That's not a technical term. But Nader, why don't you go ahead and start off with that part of the topic for today?
All right, for sure. So essentially, well, actually, maybe we should start off with just how this all came to be, I think, right? Like how the legislation, and I think that would be, Chris would be able to talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. And just to give you a little background too, David. So I worked in the cannabis industry for 5 years for one of the biggest MSOs in Illinois. So I have a pretty good background as far as cannabis industry and a lot of the legislation and regulations that go into it, not only in Illinois, but across the country. And what we're talking about here, what's really affecting small businesses come November, specifically in Illinois too, is the 2018 Farm Bill loophole, which made all of those hemp-derived THC beverages and gummies and things that you see at bottle shops and gas stations and Woodman's, made that all legal. And outside, legal? Correct, that is all federally legal under the hemp, the regulations in the Farm Bill that is about to be closed in November. And that is something that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. And I know I've tried to get a hold of local politicians here to see if I can get some kind of answer as to what are businesses supposed to do when this loophole closes in November. And I haven't been lucky to get any kind of response. So we're trying to raise a little bit of awareness and make sure people understand what's at stake here and what's happening.
Yeah, so essentially like all these drinks, for example, like this one, this is a Wink, that I'm drinking right now, you won't be able to find those in my business. And it's actually become quite a significant amount of my sales. And I've actually, because we've in the industry itself, in beer, we're seeing a lot of decline in terms of just like, sales and like popularity, as well as we're seeing, closures from breweries. We're averaging, for the last 3 years, we've been averaging 20 brewery closures in Illinois every year. So a lot of this has to do with different consumer trends. There's a lot going on. There's like all issues. There's just a whole list of things going on that are affecting this. But one of the things is a difference in consumer trends. And we noticed that, consumers are starting to really get into these hemp-derived THC drinks. They make about 10% of all my sales. And that's including, the bar side of it. So a little bit about my business is we have a bottle shop side where we have, liquor, wine, even meat, ciders, of course, beers, and then all these THC drinks available to go. We also have a bar side where we do like we have 20 taps and we do draft pours.
Nice.
So like that's still pretty significant. If you 10% doesn't seem like a lot, but it is pretty significant.
In sales is a chunk. Yeah, that could be like your margin, your profit margin.
Yeah.
You know for sure. No, absolutely. Okay, so but you're saying it's going to be made legal. So is the fear that instead of going to your place to buy it, people are just going to stop by Citgo and pick them up? Is that the fear?
Oh no. So it is already legal, but the loophole is gonna be closed in November, which I think it just got delayed to December, right?
Federally, possibly. See, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Is there's all this chatter because there's competing lobbies that want to keep this loophole open because, I mean, in multiple states, it's $1 billion business, right?
I get you. Okay. So this actually ties into the bigger issue of this attack on hemp.
Correct.
Right, across the country. This is ridiculous. So, Chris, I was telling you before we went live that a few weeks ago I had a PhD in biophysics and somebody else on to talk about
law, which they really focused on telling everyone how, we're going to make the limits that you can buy higher, which sounds great. But they didn't tell everyone that it's going to be criminalizing anything that has more than 0.4 milligrams of THC, regardless of where that THC is derived, unless it's sold in a dispensary. So that means that regardless if the federal loophole stays open, right, if it gets delayed, Illinois is still closing in November. So we could be in a situation where other states that don't have hemp prohibition laws, if you will, on the books will be just fine selling this. But in Illinois, the Beer Bazaar won't be able to sell it.
Yeah.
I heard that 0.4 number in other contexts as well. I mean, let's say concerning hemp, that's what they're focusing on. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Farm Bill.
Yeah, and that's what we're up against is small business owners are the ones who are going to end up paying the price because large establishments like, say, Woodman's down the road, right? They have buyback deals. They have other stores they can send stuff to, or they can just eat it, right? Yeah. They can just eat the costs and keep moving. But small businesses don't have that opportunity, especially when you're talking about in the craft brewing industry, where they've leaned into this as a way to drive sales when they're seeing their traditional beer sales start to decline. So having no kind of roadmap from our local politicians onto what they can do to help or to find some way to mitigate the damage seems crazy, because that was another part of the cannabis omnibus law in Illinois, as they said, we're going to make inroads to dispensaries, but it's not that easy. It's not.
Nader, did you want to add to that?
Yeah. And another thing with, like Chris said, breweries are leaning into it. Some of them are even producing it. For example, Holz Lager completely closed their doors, but now all they're producing is High Water, which is their hemp-derived THC drink. And a lot of breweries have leaned in. Mars, for example, a large portfolio of their products are THC derived, or hemp THC derived. So it's a lot of these breweries and small businesses that originally started seeing these declines in their sales, adjusted and went with it, and it's now it's a concern where what are they going to do when this ban is put back into effect.
Okay, wow, this is interesting stuff. I didn't know that all of this was going. I mean, as you're mentioning stuff again, I'm remembering things I hear kind of sporadically, but at no point did I ever sit down and try to put it all together. So this is great that you guys are on here letting us know. Do you know how this whole attack on hemp started? Who said, "Oh, guys, we got a problem here. 0.4% THC in some hemp-derived products. Can't have that." What idiot started this whole thing? It's absurd. It's so okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's as far as I can tell. This all was Mitch McConnell's doing.
Oh, that guy. Is he still with us? Do we even know where he is? Was he ever a real person? All right.
As far as I can tell, I don't know. But what happened was when they were going to redo the farm bill, I think it was what was it 2016? It was probably 2024, maybe 2025. They were just going to keep the legislation open, right? They were going to keep the hemp industry caveat just as it was. And at the 11th hour, Mitch McConnell put in a little bit of language closing that gap and passed it through. And so everyone, I remember I was currently working in the cannabis industry at that time. When that happened, shocked. No one saw it coming. It was totally unexpected, at least as far as I could tell. And then everyone was scrambling. What do we do? Right. And that's from an MSO perspective. That's like $1 billion company perspective. So it was wild. I
wonder if that is some of this, at least some of it, if not all of it, has to do with taxation, because they can tax the crap out of the cannabis at the dispensaries. And I don't know, maybe there's some sort of different, like they can't tax hemp very much or something. So like, well, screw that. I don't know. I have no idea.
They easily could if they wrote legislation that made sense. But, but until that happens, a big part of it too is that there is a very large cannabis lobby as well, right? We have big cannabis companies that are making a lot of money, and hemp-derived THC is in direct competition with them. But a lot of them are in the position right now, they can play both sides, right? But they would prefer that you come to their dispensary and buy their cannabis, right? Sure. But right now, as long as that loophole is open, they can play both sides of that field. But they also have incentive to close it.
Yeah, pot's been illegal most of my life. And I remember when Colorado first made it recreationally legal, when I first heard of it, I'm like, you can do that? You can just make a drug legal? That's awesome. I smoke pot. I'm not going to deny it. I do. I have since I was 18. I'm 56. Yeah. Pot's enjoyable. I also drink. I tend to not do this them at the same time, or maybe at the end of the night after I've drank, I might have a little bit of pot medicine.
You don't get too crossfaded, right?
No. That's I've done that before, both almost equally. That was not a good situation, but and so I was very, very happy, especially when I was living in Illinois when it became legal. I was like, yay, but at the same time, I've never had a problem getting it before it was legal. I hope there are no cops watching this. If there's no statute of limitations on that, I don't know. But no, I'm just kidding. It's just it is nice to have dispensaries that you can choose from the different strains and amounts and effects. That's nice. It's enjoyable. But when they start using that as some sort of crutch to go after something as, again, just innocent and innocuous and helpful as hemp, it doesn't make any sense. Not that governments usually do, but I mean, it's just, this one's really off the hooks. Really off the hooks.
And especially for an administration that seems to fancy itself as business friendly. I don't know how destroying small businesses fits into their.
I'm not a Democrat either. I don't belong to a political party. I was a part of the Green Party for 4 years, and I got tired of being part of political parties. There was too much. My political position, socio-political, economic positions are just too much over the spectrum. Some things I'm actually quite conservative about. I want less government. I want more fiscal response. But I've never, ever, ever, ever voted for a Republican. Ever.
We have that in common.
That's small government, pro freedom. No, you're not. No, and stuff like that. They're very authoritarian. They're the ones who want all the flock cameras and everything else. No, we believe in freedom and privacy and individual rights and liberties, but we're going to watch your every step. We're going to tell you who you can and can't sleep with in your bedroom and who you can and can't date and who you can and can't marry and stuff like that. Give me a break.
Yeah, and that's I think this falls right into that, right? This is the same situation.
Same thing. We're going to tell you what you can. Okay.
And I think one other part that also influences the craft beer kind of sector as well is a lot of people don't understand that legal cannabis can't cross state lines, right? And so even if it gets right. And if it gets scheduled to 3, it still is illegal to cross state lines with it, right? Now, hemp-derived THC products don't have that restriction. So a lot of these industries, these breweries who are buying hemp-derived THC distillate from other states can get it shipped in and make their product here in Illinois, right?
Oh, wow.
But as soon as that closes, that goes away. And then the only provider that they have is in-state cannabis companies who are already using their, their inventory to make their products. They're just going to jack up the cost.
Right. Yep.
Right.
There's less competition.
Right. Exactly. And then these craft breweries, instead of being able to sell their products at a place like Beer Bazaar, have to go through the dispensaries, right? Which are mostly owned by the same giant MSO companies. So it's just this vicious circle, and you can kind of see why we got in this predicament where we're in right now once you put all the pieces together.
Yeah, no, this is fascinating. Nader, did you want to add anything else?
Oh, no, I was just nodding.
Okay. Chris, you froze up there a little bit. Can you hear me?
Oh, no. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just your face is frozen.
Oh, I love it. Let me see.
Yeah.
Continue.
It's reminding me of a horror movie. I'm trying to think of the movie. Oh, now you're gone. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. I just tried to plug in my camera again and see if I can get it back.
Cool. Well, all right. If you have anything else you want to talk about, we can talk about it, or we can call it a day. And are you both going to be at that meeting tomorrow?
Hey, I'm back.
Yay!
I know I'll be there, and I don't know if you're going to the
data center thing at there's a data center meeting. No data center meeting at CLC tomorrow. Supposed to be
I think I heard about it. Yeah, I'll see if I can try to make a.
I think you got to get a ticket. I'm sure Chris can tell you all about it, but you do have to. No, I don't think you do. You do have to get a ticket. But they're free. They don't cost anything. They just need to make sure they don't go over capacity. So, all right, cool. Yeah. Any last thing you want to plug real quick about this topic, or I want to have you guys back on again tomorrow. I want to do more research into this, and we can talk more about it. You obviously know a lot about it already, but I kind of want to look at the reasoning behind it. Like, even if it comes from somebody as loathsome as Mitch McConnell, like, why do you want this? What is your reasoning? Because I try to be fair. I try to get all sides, and stuff like that. And oftentimes you'll see that the reasoning is very poor, and I'm expecting to find that here. But we'll see. There might be something, I've looked into things because I end up missing something. Oh, okay. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Stuff like that. So I try to be fair.
Prohibitionist policies is what it is.
Prohibitionist policy is probably what it is. You're probably right. I'm guessing it has something to do with taxation and the lack of competition and more control over businesses and stuff like that. And this used to be a free country. I don't think that's true, but not wholly in every aspect. But I don't know. It just seems like the governments just keep the government overreach is just growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And I'm not a big fan of governments. I'm still very libertarian in my political philosophy. I don't like governments. I don't like authoritarian anything. I trust people to make their own decisions.
Yeah,
and allow people to make bad decisions. You're allowed to make bad decisions and screw up and learn from them, or not.
That's the best way to learn.
I agree. So anyway, okay, guys, thanks.
I guess before we go, the last thing I do want to plug, if there is any local politicians listening, please reach out. Because small businesses need a roadmap for this.
Do you know if there are any hemp farmers around here? I'm sure there's some in Illinois. Are there any in Lake County?
I think there is one in Lake County, but I would have to get back to you. I could, if we plan to talk again, I could do that.
Maybe we can have all of you on the show. Because coming right from a hemp farmer would be awesome. That'd be awesome.
A great perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, guys, thanks so much, Chris and Nader. Thank you so much for coming on. Nader, very cool. I want to stop by Beer Bazaar. Maybe Chris, you and I can meet there one night and have a couple beers and talk. Whatever. But that'd be cool.
Anytime, David. Anytime.
I love small businesses. I love like the whole mom and pop thing. I love that about downtown Grayslake. I live in Grayslake. It's just a very charming area with a lot of cool stuff going on, and I also enjoy beer. So, and I like good beer. So it sounds like you've got some there, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
We don't carry. Well, it's changed a little bit, but for the most part, we don't carry anything that ends in light.
And I will say he has some of the most knowledgeable staff there. If you can just go in and ask, like, I'm feeling something kind of fruity, they'll get it for you.
That's what's really cool about like these sort of like beer bars, the ones that have like, like whatever from 24 to like some of them have like, 100, is that the bartenders and the waitresses and waiters and so on, like they're just encyclopedias of beer knowledge. Because they have to be. It's really cool. It's just a fun experience instead of just going to a typical bar and like ordering a drink and they go, okay, here you go, here's your Manhattan, and they don't even know what's in it. But that kind of thing. So yeah, beer focused bars are they're a very cool thing, very cool effect for a community. I like that. That's very cool. So good for you. So all right, cool. I'll be in touch. And Chris, I just got a text from somebody about the ticket thing, so you don't need to do that for me after the show. But thank you anyway, gentlemen. Thanks for coming on. Let's talk county. I'll be in touch, and yeah, let's have this conversation again down the road. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk Lake County. I'm your host, David Rich. Till next time, keep talking. All right, hold on, guys.